Welcome to The Favorites, presented by DraftKings. The crown is yours. We are an Action Network podcast. I'm Brandon Kravitz, back at it on this fine Tuesday morning, along with my two faves and your two faves, Kendra Middleton and the Prime Minister of Degenerate Nation, Stuckey. On today's episode, we've got our Plant the Flag game for Week 15. Can you believe it? Our official Thursday night football preview, Bucks, Falcons, and of course, the main event, Tuesday's primer from Evan Abrams. Monday Night Football, the one-handed superhero Justin Herbert gets it done. There's the Chargers beat the Eagles in overtime. Kendra, did you watch the regular real-life version last night, or were you in on the Monsters, Inc. edition?
I watched the regular version of Monday Night Football. I think if I had to watch Dan Orlovsky and Monsters University Inc. whatever with that game, I would have done things that I can't say on this podcast because I would have hated it so much. I cannot imagine watching such a shit show of a game in cartoon form. I would have thrown my remote through the TV. And I'm not an angry person. I'm not an angry sports watcher. There is no way in hell I could have watched that game in animation. No shot. No. Although it is funny to see all of the memes of Jalen Hurts being intercepted by Sully Sullivan all over the place.
Sully had a hell of a game last night.
Sully, MVP push.
It's a 3-game losing streak for the Philadelphia Eagles. By the way, there is no more degenerate feeling than having money on a game and then watching the cartoon version of that game play out live. That will always
Eagles
be.
Are in bad jail.
I did that with, I watched a Mickey Mouse version of Victor Wembanyama against the Knicks cover 9 during Christmas last year. But anyway, Stuckey, is Jalen Hurts broken? The Eagles are in bet jail for Kendra. NFL.com called their offense a rickety old sled incapable of gliding. I thought that was appropriate.
Well, you buried the lead. We hit our parlay again.
Hey, well done. Thank you.
We tried to warn you not to chase the Chiefs' steam. But good job, Kendra, coming through on the Texans.
Well done. Thank you. Still on the profitable on the night with that, but I wasted a unit on the Chiefs. Got
another no sweat Texans and Chiefs under. So that was nice. The Eagles. I've been saying it the entire season. This is who they are. Their offense is broken. There's no fixing it, and I just like the play calling is so uncreative. Whenever they're in shotgun, it seems like everyone knows what's coming. The offensive line is not the same. Obviously, they've had injuries, so the running game is not as potent. Hurts looks lost. You can just play zone against them, and everything falls apart. There's nothing that works with this offense. There's not even like before you'd have these periodic bursts of maybe a quarter. Like that's even going away. It is ugly. I saw a clip, speaking of those animated, whatever the alternative broadcasts. I saw a clip that it like broke when Hurts threw a pick and fumbled. It like broke the animation.
Wait, have you never seen Monsters Inc.?
No, I don't know what that is.
What?
He doesn't have kids yet. There's
I
no
don't
reason.
have kids.
But you were a kid when that movie came out.
Okay, hot take though, Monsters University is better than Monsters Inc. That is your homework, Stuckey. Those are top 5 Disney movies, must-know Disney movies. I need you to watch one of them.
I mean, I'm sure I'll watch them with my kid, but right now it's time.
So good.
It's bowl season.
My God.
I just recently watched them last year. It was one of the last 2 years of my life for the first time. But Kendra is right. One of the rare series of movies where the second one is significantly better than the first one.
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
The offense is broken, and I don't see it getting fixed. This reminds me of, now this is really interesting. The 2023 Eagles, right? Was that the 2023 the Brian Johnson Eagles? Evan, will you look that up real quick? That was Brian Johnson, right? 2023. I get the years all mixed up.
After 2020, I'm convinced I just died and now I exist.
2023 was Brian Johnson when their offense was broken, but they still made the playoffs. And but everyone knew it wasn't going to work, and then they got destroyed by the Bucks in the first round. But similarly to that year, this year you have another offensive coordinator and a broken offense. People in Philly are starting to say like just every other year we'll have a good offensive coordinator and go to the Super Bowl. But that year they won a bunch of close games. They won a bunch of overtime games. I think they started off like 8-1 and they collapsed down the stretch. They lost 5 of 6 to close out the regular season, and they ended up getting blown out in the first round of the playoffs. There was a game that year and it's giving me similar vibes. There was a game, I think they had a Monday night game. The Eagles had a Monday night game, and then the next week they were at home against the Cardinals. I was New Year's Eve 2023. Evan, look up this spread. Can you look up the spread? 2023 Eagles, Cardinals, New Year's Eve. And there the crowd was booing. It was a disaster. And they ended up losing to the Cardinals, who finished with like 3 or 4 wins that year. And they lost to the Cardinals at home. Are the Raiders live? I don't know. But that's the vibes that I'm getting with this team. Like, I wouldn't even be shocked if they lost to the Raiders, especially if Kenny Pickett goes. I haven't seen an update on Geno Smith, but Kenny Pickett, who is the hero, New Year's Eve, it was minus 11.5, same exact spread.
Wow.
And ended up losing to the Cardinals at home, a bad Cardinals team. More power to you if you want to put your hard-earned money on the Eagles minus 11.5 against anybody. I don't trust that. I wouldn't lay 11.5 against anybody.
Bet
But,
jail.
if Kenny Pickett goes, he at least can move around. That's what you need to do because the Raiders' offensive line is a joke, an absolute joke. But the Raiders are going to play zone, make the Eagles work it down the field. Are they capable of doing that against anyone? I don't know. Yeah, it's a mess. I can't see it getting fixed. So I don't think that they're a serious contender.
Might need to back our king, Pete Carroll, yet again. We'll see if it lands on the card come Thursday. That double turnover play, by the way, it marked the first time since 1978, as far back as the research goes for stuff like this, where a player has committed 2 turnovers on the same play. It was also his 5th career start with a sub 40 passer rating, the second most since 2020. Only Mac Jones has more sub 40 passer rating games since
More like
2020.
Whack Jones.
He had his moment in the sun this year. Kendra,
No, I saw some research going all the way back. It was the first time in NFL history that ever happened. So yeah,
toward the double turnover.
Yeah, that was the first time it ever happened.
They've only been marking that. They've only tracked it since 78. Laura Rutledge with the walk-off interview that has gone viral, trying to get Justin Herbert to break down the win. He wanted no part of it. Said, I want to go celebrate with my teammates. Who was in the wrong here?
Oh, Justin Herbert, 110%. I've been a Justin Herbert apologist for quite some time as far as like him as a person. He seems like a nice kid, goes to work, goes home, keeps his head down, that type of thing. But you know what you have to do at the end of the game. You've been in this league for long enough. Laura Rutledge is like the top of the top tier, creme de la creme at her job. And you're going to disrespect a woman just trying to do her job. I know it has nothing to do with the fact that she's a woman. It just has to do with the fact that he wanted to celebrate with his team. Maybe he was off a Percocet for his hand and just wanted to do his own thing. I thought this was rude. I had a moment like this in college during the border war, UNH versus UMaine. And the Wildcats, he spoke to me every week at halftime. You know, you have to talk to me. They were down like a touchdown or 2 at the half in their rivalry game. And I chased after him and he ignored me. And after the game, I went into the press conference and I said to him, I will chase you into the locker room next time. I know the code. Don't ignore me. That was rude. Congratulations on the win. And he turned bright red and did not ignore me for the rest of the season. But it's like, I have a job to do. You have a job to do. I don't want to sit here and ask you how you felt about that play or how you feel about the win or any of these generic questions, but that's my job. That's your job. You have the rest of the night. Give me my 30 seconds. You know you have to do it. You've been around long enough. Bad look for Justin Herbert. It makes Laura Rutledge look like a queen, and her hair looked fabulous last night, so that's all I have to say about that.
She's very good at her job. I don't understand why Justin Herbert was.
Dick move.
I don't get it. I don't understand the
There's
thought
no
process
reason
there.
for it.
You
And
know that
you know there's cameras on you.
I mean, it goes back to college. Like, this is just what happens after a game. They talk to the star quarterback. It's crazy.
Especially because it's not like he didn't go to like a G5 school. You played at Oregon. Like, you've had hundreds of these interviews in your career. You know how this goes. Don't be disrespectful. You know it's going to look bad on you. Give the girl her 30 seconds and go celebrate in the locker room with your teammates. They know you have to have that conversation. They know where you are. Girl, get a grip. You got your game ball. Go home. Reevaluate yourself.
The Indianapolis Colts are looking for a new quarterback. We don't know if Riley Leonard's going to be able to give it a go. Daniel Jones is out for the year, and they have now worked out grandfather Rivers. Philip Rivers may end up being the starting quarterback of the Indianapolis Colts. We'll see what happens. But Stuckey, how could you possibly figure out a power rating for the Colts with a 44-year-old father of 10 at the helm?
I mean, I doubt Rivers starts this week. I assume he's coming in to kind of be a mentor to Rippon. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing because I think Steichen said that Rippon would start if Leonard can't go. Is this we saw Brosmer in Seattle. It didn't end well. So yeah, I don't know.
Wait, I have a question for
I'm
you,
not even
Steph.
going to try to even come up with a number for this game.
So Philip Rivers does training in the off season, and one of his clients is Riley Leonard. So for me, I feel like because he trains Riley Leonard, outside of the NFL, whatever, I don't think that he would be coming back to the NFL if it weren't to play because he mentors these guys anyway.
Yeah, I mean, but I just don't think he would start. Maybe he starts later in the season, but I don't think he would start this week. He hasn't been running the offense. He hasn't been with anyone. He has no timing. He hasn't played in 5 years. And I think that Steichen came out and said Rippon would start if he can't go. Plus, you need more quarterbacks. You need more than one quarterback. You can't just have one. You can't just have Brett Rippon. I would be interested in the Colts that I don't even know where Jason Bean is these days, the Kansas guy. Run read option with Jason Bean. I love betting him in college. But I will say that you got the Colts right tackle is probably going to be out, which doesn't help matters. Braden Smith has a concussion. We'll see on their injuries. We'll see if Sauce Gardner can come back. Yeah, maybe you go Warren Wildcat. But the Colts are cooked. And this Jones injury is a year injury. Richardson is a wasted draft pick. They traded 2 firsts for Sauce Gardner, basically to go all in on this year and next. And that ain't happening. And now you don't have your draft picks. And the draft picks that you did give away are going to get better, by the way, for the Jets. Incredible trade for the Jets. So the Colts went from, wow, we're in pretty position. We're going to get the 1 seed. We're the toast of the league. To now, I think they might finish 8-9, miss the playoffs, not have a quarterback next year, traded their first round draft picks away. And Colts fans, at least you have the Hoosiers.
I mean, what does this look like for Daniel Jones moving forward? Because he's on a year contract. Like, you can't obviously sign a guy for probably what he's worth after the season that he had because of the injury. Like, you're not going to pay a guy big bucks to, rah and sit on the bench. The other thing I want to talk about with Philip Rivers before we get to this, I do think that he might play just because if he comes in. I get that he's 44 years old. He's coming off the couch. He's a high school, football coach for his 37,000 kids, whatever. But the reason that I think that it also might be a starting thing outside of the fact that he mentors these guys is that Shane Steichen was his quarterback coach when he was with the Chargers. They're just maybe going to run the same system that he did when he was there, the familiarity with the coaching, with the system, all of those things. I just don't see a guy like this resetting his clock for the NFL Hall of Fame if he's not going to bother playing.
I just kind of think like we have 16 games. Why would I even bother betting on on or against a Colts team that could be playing who knows who at quarterback? Let it be Phillip Rivers. I don't know what this guy looks like anymore.
Never touching
I
it.
mean, he looked washed at the end of his playing career. Now you're asking him to come back, and it's just there's too much unknown. We have too big of a card, I think, to factor this stuff in. Are we good with sort of leaving this one off to the side for the week, or is there value to
Do
extract
we
from
bet
this
jail?
situation? I just think maybe like bet timeout or so.
I mean, there's a number for everything. I mean, maybe at like 14. I don't know. I could look at it. I haven't gone through all the games in depth. I gotta wait for injury reports. But um,
Their
Colts.
schedule is
Steichen was the
disgusting.
Chargers quarterback coach from Evan from, as you said, 2016 to 2019 during Rivers' last 4 years of the team, and he threw for almost 18,000 yards, 116 touchdowns, both top five in those 4 seasons. But he's a grandpop now and hasn't played since 2020. I doubt
Imagine having
he's
so
not.
many kids. You would rather come out of retirement and get hit by grown men than be at home with all of them. Free birth control. Thank you.
I mean, maybe he just wants some peace and quiet. So he's
The fact
Sure.
that the NFL would be peace and quiet from your 10 kids is hilarious.
Yeah, do you sit in the locker room with your headphones on? That's way more peaceful. An
Oh
update
man.
on playoff odds over on DraftKings. The Colts are plus 300 to make the playoffs, minus 400 to miss. That sounds about right. The
Their
Ravens, by the way,
schedule.
I mean, it doesn't even matter the way that the form
Ugh.
that this team is in. The Ravens are plus 185 to make the playoffs, minus 230 to miss. The Chiefs, you ready for this? Minus 800 to miss the playoffs, plus 550 to make the postseason. Kendra, anything on that card sound interesting to you as far as playing a team to make or miss? I mean, playing these teams to miss is quite expensive, but do you see any
I've
of
had
these
the
teams cracking through?
I've had the Chiefs to miss the playoffs since the beginning of the season at plus 150. So I feel like, or yeah, plus 150. So I feel like I'm sitting pretty on that. But I don't think that there's value. It's so crazy how week to week the NFL is. We go from seeing like, teams like the Colts being from top of the top, creme de la creme, total like Super Bowl conversation to, this week their odds just have completely flip-flopped. I will never count Patrick Mahomes out as pretty as I am feeling about this future bet that I have. But man, how do you count the guy out? How do you do that? I think that you're better probably with a no bet situation here. I will say that this season is shaping out to be that if the Bills do not win a Super Bowl this season, they probably never will. It's never going to be easier than this. You're never not going to have Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, and Patrick Mahomes in your way through the AFC. If you can't get through Justin Herbert, who's never won a playoff game, someone like Trevor Lawrence, a broken Indianapolis team, it's never going to happen. It's truly now or never. The pressure couldn't be higher for them. I think that this isn't so much about the collapse of the other teams at this point. We're going to be talking about what are the Buffalo Bills going to make of this? Because I think that that's where this conversation shifts from here.
It really should be them. I think they're the most, as weird as it is to say, because they've never cracked through with this version of the Bills. I think they're the most trustworthy team in the AFC to make it to the Super Bowl. They're at plus 370 to do that, not to win it, but just to make it to the Super
And
Bowl.
their schedule remaining. You're going to play a Patriots team coming off of a bye. Obviously, the Mike Vrabel after the bye situation doesn't bode well for you playing them. But if you have any shot, you've got to beat the Patriots in Foxborough because of the division stuff. And the AFC is just a mess. And honestly, like just for morale. Then you get the Browns at home. Yes, Cleveland's defense at home, incredible. Outside of last week, you're going to play the Eagles, tough, but then you finish with the Jets. So weird sledding for the Bills, but they could go 4-0 on the way out.
Stuckey looks like he's doing math over there. You throwing an equation together for any of these teams to make or miss the playoffs?
I don't know. I'm taking bowl notes. So just bowl. My bowl piece will be up later. I've been working on it for the last 40 hours. I go through every player on every team, every coach, every potential opt out. and it gets updated hourly throughout bowl season. So look out for that. Should be out like tonight or tomorrow. But
That is an
I have thoughts on this.
insane amount of work. That's a lot.
I
I
have
see why
thoughts on
Stuckey
this.
doesn't sleep.
Yeah, for sure.
I actually don't like the Ravens to make the playoffs. If you're going to bet on the Ravens, bet on them to win the Super Bowl. If you like, because Lamar, he showed some signs in the second half of last year. But if they get in, they can win it all in this field. You're betting on Lamar getting healthier and becoming 100%. Is that going to happen? Maybe not. If it does, and they win the division, I would rather have much more upside than whatever it is, plus 180. The bet I placed yesterday is Bengals 15-1 at DraftKings to win the division. They are not dead. Hear me out. So if they beat Baltimore this week, so say Lamar's still not healthy. Now Higgins has a concussion, which doesn't help, but I mean, the Bengals just beat the Ravens without Higgins. So if the Bengals beat the Ravens, now the Bengals have to win out. Like, I mean, what's their record? 4-9. So you might say, all right, they're gonna finish 8-9 and win the division. Every year or two, we get one of these divisions or an 8-9 team wins the
AFC
division.
South every single year. AFC South every single season since the dawn of time.
Except for this year, that gargantuan division.
So if the Bengals beat the Ravens, their remaining games this week, the remaining games are the Dolphins and then the Cardinals and Browns at home. Like, I'm putting them at 8-9. Or does that mean they are? But no. But they have a good shot to get to 8-9 if they win this week. The Steelers, who I still don't think are any good, they have Miami. They're a 3-point favorite at home against Miami this week. And Miami's playing better. But even if we give them that win, then they're at Detroit. They're at Cleveland. I mean, Rodgers going up against that defensive line. We know Cleveland's going to show up for that game, wanting to end their season. And then they have the Ravens at home. So is there a chance that the Steelers go 1-3? I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if they went 0-4. Now, granted, they could go 3-1. But with that schedule, like I could see the Ravens playing the Steelers on the last week and spoiling their party, and that's their season. The Steelers have done it to the Ravens before. So if let's say the Steelers finish 8-9, well, the Ravens now they're 6-7. If they lose, this whole hypothesis is based on the Bengals winning this week. So the Ravens would lose to the Bengals. They would fall to 6-8. So in order to get to 8-9, they would need to go 2-1 over the remaining games. They're home against the Pats, at the Packers, and then at the Steelers. That is not easy. But if there's a chance that they could get the 8-6, say they lose at the Packers, they beat the Pats, then they need to win at the Steelers. They do that, and there's a big tiebreaker, or there's tiebreakers with the Bengals, and the Ravens beat the Steelers. The Bengals are going to win the tiebreaker at 8-9.
It feels like that Charlie Day like meme where he's got the whiteboard with all the markers and he's like,
yeah, there's tiebreaker scenarios where the Bengals beat the Steelers. The Bengals have the easiest schedule overall. So I think they're worth a flyer. Just some small couch change, 15-1, because if they win this weekend, I'm telling you, this division is going to get weird, and eight or 9 wins is going to win it.
Yeah, and I think say that again, Kendra.
So we on the Bengals this weekend? Are they making it in the parlay?
I mean, I guess plus 114 on the money line, but yeah, I mean, you're essentially and there's a lot more to it, and that was a good breakdown by Stuckey. You're parlaying the Bengals to win on the money line until the end of the season. And essentially, because you need that to happen.
And then the other thing, in regards to the Chiefs, I think it is worth taking a shot on the Chiefs right now to make the playoffs. So the Chiefs, I played it yesterday. Now the price got a little better because the price would have improved if the Chargers lost, and I thought that was a coin flip game, and I wanted to get ahead of it. If the Chiefs, so basically we're saying the Colts are out. So the Colts are done.
The Colts are done.
So if you look at the AFC playoff standings right now, the Texans, Jags, and Bills, put them all in. I mean, it's pretty safe to say. And then obviously you have the Broncos, the Patriots, and who am I missing?
Do you mention
then whatever the
Steelers?
AFC North, which is irrelevant to this conversation. So there's only two teams left, realistically. It's the Chargers and the Chiefs. And if and the Chiefs host the Chargers this week, pick up a game. Now the Chiefs have to win out, by the way, to have a chance. But the Chiefs after this, they have their other home game is home against the Broncos with revenge. And then their other games are at the Titans and at the Raiders. So if they win this week, which I think they do, then I think there's a good chance that they get the 10 wins. And by the way, if the Chargers lose to the Chiefs this week and they lose at Denver in the regular season finale, Chiefs win the tiebreaker at 10 wins over the Chargers on common opponents. And by the way, the Chargers in between those two road games at Kansas City and at Denver, they play at Dallas and the Texans at home. I mean, they already don't have a great home field advantage. Good luck against that Texans front without an offensive line. I don't think this Chargers team is any good. They've done nothing on the road. They still don't have an offensive line. They beat the Eagles. I don't think the Eagles are very good.
The
They beat
Broncos
the
broke the
Eagles
Eagles
last week. The Eagles threw 4 picks. Hurts had 5 turnovers, and they needed overtime to win. So there's a chance that the Broncos could rest their starters if they have the 1 seed locked up because they do have the tiebreaker of the Patriots. But we're assuming that Denver loses at Kansas City, so the chances of that are pretty slim. There is a scenario where the Broncos could, hey, we're playing for the 1 seed over the Chargers, but if we win, we're letting the Chiefs in. And then if the Chiefs win their first game, that's who the Broncos would play, which is pretty interesting. Obviously, you go for the 1 seed, but that would be so Chiefs. So yeah, I took a shot on the Chiefs. Math wise, there's not value in my opinion, but I made a little fun bet. I do think that both are worth just throw some change out there.
Yeah, you're never in your life going to get the Chiefs at plus 550 to make the playoffs ever again. So if that's one way that you want to look at it as well,
Well,
have at
you
it.
will if they lose this week. You'll get better than
Well,
that.
at that point, don't bet it at all. That would be a no bet. We are about to take a look at Thursday Night Football, but first, a word from our very own Kendra Middleton.
The Favorites podcast has teamed up with DraftKings Sportsbook, where new customers can bet $5 and get $200 back in bonus bets if your bet wins. Stay in on the action and use your bonus bets on DraftKings same game parlays for a shot at even bigger payout. To get started, use promo code Favorites when signing up with DraftKings. Again, use code Favorites when signing up and bet $5 to get $200 back in bonus bets if your bet wins. The crown is yours.
All right, Kendra, what's on your mind today?
So I gave you a couple of options before we started the show because sometimes we like to keep this related to sports, but you guys saw me low-key crying the other day before our show because my fish tank is going through some stuff. So I decided on the question. I'm going to pull my greatest Stuckey here and ask you guys something really strange and out of pocket. For example, when my shrimp pass away, RIP, in my tank, their friends have to eat them. I have to leave the dead bodies in the tank because their friends and their family get nutrients from eating them. If you naturally died, you couldn't be murdered. If you naturally died and your friends and family could get nutrients to live longer, healthier lives from your body, would you let them eat you?
This is a no-brainer for me. Absolutely. I'm not here anymore. You might as well. Have at it. Throw some A1 steak sauce on there. I'm all for it.
I think so too. Like if I could help out the homies as my last
Yeah.
gift, I would totally let somebody eat me. I'm an organ donor, so I feel like it's basically the same shit.
Yeah, can I put that? I'll put that on my license too. Family can eat me if
Yeah,
nutrients
for
allow
nutrients.
longer
Yeah.
life.
Yeah, it's weird to sit here and watch this happen, but the more I think about it, I'm like, you know what? In a weird way, that's kind of beautiful.
Yeah, that is a lovely part of life.
Evan, would you
Stuckey?
let your friends eat you? I feel like I need to know from you specifically.
Let's just let them make the decision, right? Like I'm not here anymore. If it's gonna help them, sure, but
But you have
you
to
know.
declare it. It's like being an organ donor.
Yeah, sure, why not? I mean,
Hell
it's like
yeah.
yeah, let them go.
I would want my
Hell
ghost to
yeah.
haunt the dinner though and be like, "You guys are fucking weirdos."
Do you guys think whatever you die in is your ghost outfit forever? I feel like that's why I feel so much personal pressure every day to slay in my outfits, is because what if I die? That's my ghost outfit literally forever.
I've never had that thought once in my life.
Really? All of my like DMV photos are in my Mark Brunell jersey. So I really think about these things. I'm like, what would my ghost outfit be today? Mark Brunell.
Stuckey, you letting the fam eat you?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm dead. Why do I care? But you were saying that if that reminded me of that. There's that meme. It's like, well, I'll do it to Brandon. Brandon, if I snap my fingers, you will forget that you are a losing better. Are you a
Oh,
losing
wow.
better?
Look at that.
Are you a losing
Oh,
better?
No, he just forgot that we hit our parlay, and that's why he thinks we're losing bets.
I'm a new man. I don't even know what you're talking about, Stuck. Losing me? Please. Get out of here with that.
See? It worked.
It did. It did something.
I'm a winner, damn it.
So
always have been.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not here anymore. And who's do I have to like sign it? They're saying that this is, by the way, the plot of Pluribus.
See, I don't know what that is. This
That's
is
the
I
new
know
Apple
Monster Inc.
show.
This is like I'll because I'll jump in here. That's why it's like shocking.
Gifford is here.
Yeah,
yes,
you have no idea. You have no idea what that show is, and you're like actually explaining what like the biggest plot twist in the show has been to date. I don't want
Spoiler
to spoil
alert.
it for other people, but like this is
don't spoil it. Don't spoil the show. I heard it's good, but it's slow. I mean, that's a typical.
But it's slow, yeah.
What's his name? The guy who did
Vince
Breaking
Gilligan.
Bad. It's a typical Vince Gilligan show, I've heard.
My culture is not your costume, Pluribus.
And yeah, Edwin Diaz of the Dodgers. Rich get richer.
Yeah, that's disgusting. All right, let's talk Thursday night football. We'll leave that to Sean Zerillo. Falcons at Bucks -4.5 on the Tampa side. 44.5 is the total. Baker and the Bucks have not been in good form lately. They've lost 4 of their last 5 out of the bye. They've been terrible at home this season. I can't get that game out of my head where they barely beat the Jets earlier this year. I do remember, though, watching one of these quarterback documentaries on Netflix. They did this whole segment on how stressed out Kirk Cousins was going up against Todd Bowles' blitz scheme on a short week specifically. And yet here we are. That's exactly the scenario that we face. Tristan Wirfs on the injury report, Kate Otten, Chris Godwin, Hassan Reddick, Mike Evans and Jalen McMillan might be back. So kind of all over the place. Drake London logged a DMP this week. Early read Stuckey on Thursday Night Football.
I guess I might lean Falcons somewhat on the number. Lots of injury stuff to parse through still. I hate Thursday night games. This isn't a game I'm running the bet. But the Bucks are a mess right now. I mean, like, since week 7, Baker's second worst in EPA per play among all quarterbacks. It's ugly. And I mean, the Falcons, their defense is still solid. This should be a lower scoring game. I don't hate the under, but there's so much injury stuff to parse through. I just don't. Some people are still holding on to like the Bucks that we saw earlier in the season when they were lucking into wins when Mayfield was playing at an unsustainable MVP level, and now he's come back down to his normal form, and the Bucks are a mess. Now they've had a lot of injuries. In fairness, Baker himself has been dealing with bumps and bruises all year, and so maybe there's like a point where the offense, is this the bottom? And I said this last week, and I was like, I don't know. And it wasn't the bottom because the bottom was last week against the Saints in a bizarre game. Every time I looked at that game, it was 4th and 1 for either team somehow. And the Bucks ended up going, I think, 2 of 7 on 4th downs. So I don't know. But to your point, yeah, maybe on short rest against Bowls, maybe that's an angle. Teams are 3-6-1 against the spread versus Bowls on short rest since 2017. But I think the Falcons defense can cause this broken Bucks offense some issues. But there's a lot of injury stuff to parse through. And it looks like London's not going to go with the DMP in a short week, but if he would, then I definitely would like the Falcons at 4.5, but not a game I'm running to bet.
Trends versus current form. Here we go yet again. It felt like that was one of the themes for me as I was prepping for week 14, and we're at it again to start the week between the Falcons and the Buccaneers. I want to be on the Bucs. This is actually a game that I had circled early in the season. I circle a couple of games. I know I'm going to want to bet them. And the Bucs are one of those teams, but I'm with Stuckey. I don't know how at 4.5.
You want
it
to
just
lay
feels-
points with this Bucks team
No,
right
I
now?
don't. I'm saying at the beginning of the season, there's certain spots that I look for. One of them was division, Bucks, home, short week was one of the ones that I liked. And now now that we're here, I can't see it with the Bucks. I'd have to get probably a field goal or short of that. Kendra, where do you land?
The Falcons embarrassed the shit out of me last week, so I just can't get behind them again. They're very close to federal prison for me, but also I kind of have to cheer for the Bucs here as hard as it is because once again I have a future on my Carolina Panthers to finish second in the division. So I need the Bucs to win this game. As much as I feel like the Falcons, there's a 5.5 available. I feel like the Falcons could probably cover that just because once again, in my brain, always screaming divisional matchups are weird. Divisional matchups are weird. Can't quite get to the window just because I do have some other bets that are influenced by this game that I want to see kind of ride out. But divisional games are weird. But the Falcons just got their ass beat. I don't believe in Kirk Cousins. The Bucs, I don't believe in either. They're decimated with injuries. It just feels like we're destined for another flop of a Thursday night football game that I am probably going to have on my laptop in front of me while I play the new Call of Duty. I don't know.
Yeah, they got blasted by the Seattle Seahawks. Talking about the Falcons, the week before that, they lost to the Jets. Their last
They're a
win was
bad
against
team.
yeah, they lost to the Saints. Pair of overtime games before that. I mean, they've just been terrible. So I just can't bet the Bucks at 4.5. This just doesn't feel like the kind of team right now that's going to pull away from anybody, especially on a weird Thursday. And I've been awful talking about. Well, I mean, I don't know. Stuckey snapped his fingers, so I can't remember whether or not I lose on Thursday night games or not.
You win on
but
Thursday nights. Yeah, I would also mention the Falcons special teams have been an abject disaster. And that could always, I mean, the last 2 weeks of, like last week, the game blew open starting on a kick return touchdown to start the second half. The Jets game, they basically lost because of special teams. They muff a punt inside their own 3. Their special teams have been bad all year long. One of the worst special teams units in the NFL. So that's worth noting. But yeah, not a game I need to spend a ton of time on.
When's the last time Stuckey played a video game? I'm gonna guess it was before
College.
before 2010.
No, I mean I played college football when that came out, the college football game for a little bit in the summer. The
Are
new
you
one, like
Xbox
a
or
couple years ago.
PlayStation?
I have like the utmost. I always get by the most recent PlayStation. I don't know why, just so it's at my house. But I used to play during COVID. One of my best friends who just passed away this weekend, R.I.P. Chad. I spent every single day with him. Like this is the COVID summer where there was nothing going on. I was betting on like Nicaraguan soccer. We would just go down to my wife's bar and she was selling all of the liquor in the bar, and the beer because they had to get rid of it. And like they had nothing to do with it. Stuff was we were closed, so there was a window in the back, and people would come out. You also had to serve food, so she had hot dogs. This feels like 10 years ago. This is 5 years ago. And for that entire summer, we just played. We had a couch in the bar, and we would just go. We would just be in the bar with me and him, and we would just play video games and drink and play beer pong. Like there was nothing to do, and we would play. What was the game on N64? The hockey game, the sick hockey game. Do you know this one, Brandon?
I don't.
Um,
You
it's
actually
like
had a stick, like a real physical. It was
no,
almost
no,
like
no, no. They
pre-Wii.
you would always do the NHL
Gretzky
94.
3D hockey.
NHL 94. It's an epic game. And so we would play that. We would play Madden. We would play
The 2020.
we would do a fantasy
Yeah.
draft. And then play an entire season. Every single game we would switch off drives with the remote and then try to win a Super Bowl on the hardest mode. And we'd play for like 12 hours.
Oh my
until, like,
God.
the morning. This is what
What
we would
a
do during COVID.
What a great way to determine your fantasy draft order. If you're my age, you'll understand what I say when snipers only rust 1v1. What a way to decide your fantasy football order. Please, somebody do that next year. I am begging you. Anyways,
I
that
think we
really
need a
Yeah.
whole.
So
my brain.
2020, I played college for a couple college football for a couple days, but really 2020. Before then, yeah, probably college.
Yeah. That college football game was the reason I purchased my current PlayStation 5. And thankfully, my 6-year-old is now into playing video games. So now I was
Good a
in a total
waste.
waste of money. All right, let's plant our flag. Presented by DraftKings. The crown is yours. I'll get us started. I'm going to lay it with the San Francisco 49ers. Niners off a bye, minus 12.5 against the Tennessee Titans off of a win. Minor travel advantage here. We've got our favorite babysitting dad, Robert Saleh, extra time to prepare for Cam Ward, who's terrible. He was outplayed by Shador Sanders last week. They won a game. Beautiful regression coming their way. The 49ers, number 2 in third down conversion rate this year, number 2 on special teams. They have been so much better than we have been giving them credit for throughout the course of the season. I know we don't like laying big numbers on this podcast, but I think the Niners are worth the plunge. Only bet I've made so far this week.
I can't
Kendra.
personally get there. I mean, you could have a back door. Shanahan gets conservative with these leads. I just don't. I could never lay 12.5 with a defense that can't get pressure and is bad. That's my only fear. And
Ooh, nice little trend. Tennessee, 10 consecutive losses straight up and against the spread after a straight up win.
I mean,
That's
you can just
lovely.
look at any Titans. Any Titans trend is going to be bad for them over the past 3 years. I can't quite get there. I mean, I'm not playing the Titans, but I'll plant my flag. I'm going to go. You know what? I'm going to go stick the Vrabel against the spread and trends where you can't see them. I don't care. Give me Josh Allen, money line, basically a pick against the Patriots. I think the Bills get their revenge. The Patriots' run D is not the same without Milton Williams. It's been leaking oil. I think the Bills can attack them on the ground now, and then they can attack their linebackers through the air. I think Spencer Brown should be back. They got Kincaid back. And I think the Patriots are just at the top of their market price. I mean, you want to talk about a team. Here's who the Patriots, the quarterbacks they've beat since they beat the Bills. Jackson Dart. Hold on, let me pull up their schedule. I should have actually wrote this down. It's bad. Like one of them is starting right now. So they beat Jackson Dart, Joe Flacco by 6, Justin Fields, Baker Mayfield, who's playing about as bad as any quarterback in the league, Penix by 1 at home, Dylan Gabriel, Cam Ward, and Spencer Rattler. Come on. I think this defense can be attacked. I think Allen gets his revenge. The key thing is, though, is that the Patriots' run D is not the same right now. I think Tonga's going to be back, which helps a little bit. Without Milton Williams, though, that run defense has not been the same. Give me Josh Allen. Screw the Vrabel against the spread off of buy trends. Bills get it done on the road.
Kendra, does the win streak end for the Patriots?
I'm with Stuckey. If the Patriots weren't in like literal federal bet prison for me, that would have been my choice. But I made my decision. Them, the Eagles, and Lad McConkey are there to stay. Otherwise, that would have absolutely been my choice. But instead, I'm disgusting. I'm absolutely disgusting. I need the injury report to come out, and I want this number to level out a little bit. There's 2s, 2.5s, 4.5s. There's everything all over. But I think I'm looking at the Commanders coming off of a shutout. We have talked about that trend time and time again on this show. I know it's disgusting, but they got shut out by the Vikings. I might continue to chase that. I don't know. I got to see the injury report, need the number to level out, but that's the number one game I'm looking at this week just because of that.
Yeah, I mean,
besides the Bills, because I can't.
The Giants as favorites, that was definitely one that stood out to me. Like, what are we doing here with this?
Is Mariota starting?
Yeah.
So I like that. I think Mariota's right now is better for that offense.
Agree.
All of his numbers are better this year. They had like this quick strike offense with Mariota. Now not having Ertz will hurt a bit, but they're healthier elsewhere, coming off of a shutout loss in a bad spot. And I think this is more of a coin flip game. So taking the 2.5 makes sense. But yeah, I mean, Mariota, no matter what. They have like the same amount of snaps going into last week. Mariota's numbers across the board were better. He gets rid of the ball quicker. He's dealing with pressure better. Daniel's
Division
just a
game.
mess this year. So, yeah, I don't mind that look at all.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
I know it's gross, but
the Vikings were coming off of a horrible defeat. Then they turn around and then they blank the Washington Commanders 31-0. Phenomenal spot by Kendra Middleton, who has been crushing these plant the flag games. So here we go. We've got Kendra at +2.5 on the Washington Commanders. Stuckey is on the Bills money line at -115. And I'm laying the wood with the San Francisco 49ers at -12.5 against the god awful Tennessee Titans. Those are our plant the flag games presented by DraftKings. The crown is yours. And to wrap today's episode, let's bring in Mr. Primer himself, Evan Abrams. Evan, what are the trends we need to be aware of before we fire away on the apps?
My favorite trend of the week, and it's just because of the situation, because it's patently ridiculous. So the Broncos are on a 10-game outright winning streak and now currently listed as a home underdog against the Packers. Normally, anyone would say to themselves, wow, that seems a little bit interesting considering most teams on that long of a streak would not be a home underdog. Would you be right? So since 1980, we've only seen 3 home dogs on a 10-plus game win streak, but only one featured both of their starting quarterbacks in the lineup. The 2005 AFC Championship game in Pittsburgh between Roethlisberger and Brady. That is it. Before that, you'd have to go back to the 1976 AFC title game to find another one. So this week, no one believes in the Broncos, and it continues. So that is a number that you haven't seen before. I thought that was a little bit fun.
2005, the Broncos were the team that was on the winning. They were on another winning streak, right?
I'd have to check, but that was the AFC title game. So that was the last time. I did a few queries to check it out. But
Was it?
Yeah.
I think it was Steelers at the Broncos.
Well, in the 2005 AFC title game was Roethlisberger Brady, Steelers Patriots.
Oh, so the 2004 season.
Yeah. I do. When you talk about like 5 title game, it's 4-5.
Gotcha. Yeah. So that I'm trying to remember that game.
It was a 41-27 Pittsburgh close +2.5. So that's a
Oh,
fun one for this week.
yeah. I remember that game now. Okay.
I think the other one everyone will point to, and honestly, that the 4 o'clock slate this week is so loaded and so much fun. You've got the Indy game where anything could happen. Green Bay, Denver, Detroit, the Rams, but you got to mention the fact that the Panthers are goddamn road favorites in a game. They've lost 11 straight as a favorite, and that's the longest streak in NFL history. So that one's always fun. There's just I got to say this for doing this primer and doing this work for like a decade plus at Action. These weeks with no buys are brutal. There's a lot of damn content. So this thing's full. Stuckey is shaking his head because he knows exactly.
Yeah, this and all the bowls. It's
Oh,
I'm losing
it's
my
insanity.
mind.
But there's a lot of good stuff in there. But that's what I've got this week.
Shout out to the legends that get all the work done for us over at actionnetwork.com. We appreciate all that you guys put in to all of the content that is out there. It's endless over on the website and on the app. Before we cut you loose, Evan, you mentioned that Lions-Rams games. That's an interesting one. Line tilting between -5.5 and -6 on the LA Rams. People are going to want to bet the shit out of that game. Is there anything that you see trend-wise that would point you in either direction?
I mean, I got an easy one for you. As a dog of 4 points or more, Goff and Campbell are 17-3 against the spreads. Try going away from that one.
Yeah.
It's not the same Lions team.
Oh, it ain't. And also, come on. You look at the other side. I can play this game all day, but the Rams and McVay in December, 16-3 ATS last 19. So I'll give you whatever you want, guys.
Okay. So you can go in either direction with that. Use the trends to your advantage, or at least to help make your arguments. Go and check it out at Action Network. What was that, Stuck?
Paint your own narrative.
Exactly. Make it. So what I like to do is make the bet and then paint the narrative. So whichever direction you need to go in to make you feel better about the wager that got you to the window. That's going to do it for today's episode. Special thanks to our producers, David Payne, Gifford Gould. Go check out the primer from Evan Abrams as well. The favorites will return on Thursday right here on the Action Network YouTube page when we get to our 2 Kings and a Queen parlay for Week 15. We'll see you next time here on the favorites presented by DraftKings. We're out.